Next one that we're going to look at are pivots. Now, again, I told you this stuff wasn't real sexy. It's not stuff you don't see trainers showing their, how to pivot online. I'm sure they teach it and they talk about it, but it's not the clips that they're showing. The pivot is huge in the development of a player. And if you don't have a player who knows how to use their pivot, then they're taking away the advantage they have. They aren't able to get themselves out of trouble. They're not creating the different spacing that you could against a defender. But they keep you on balance. Pivots keep you on balance. They allow you to get yourself out of trouble is the second thing. And we know this as coaches. This isn't like rocket science stuff that, oh man, I've never taught my players how to pivot. Of course you taught your players how to pivot. But are you emphasizing it? Are you having them do it in drills? Are you putting them in situations where they're getting trapped or where they've picked up the ball or where a bad pass led to the sideline, where they're tight roping the sideline and they've got to use a pivot or they've got to use their movement in order to keep the ball alive or to create space, that kind of thing. And that's the third one, is create space away from a defender. A lot of times players don't use the pivot to go into a defender and then pivot out of it to create a little bit of space. They kind of stand straight up and down, and they pivot away from the defender and allow the defender to close the little bit of gap that you have. So using a pivot to not only create some space when you get the ball, but when you get yourself in trouble, create space away from that defender by pivoting into him and then pivoting away from him is really going to help. And then the fourth one is creates passing lanes. We talk a lot, and I hear this mentioned a lot. Kids aren't as good at passers as they used to be, and we'll talk a little bit more about passing here in a second. But one of the reasons is they don't pivot into their passes. They're not pivoting to get a passing angle or to get a passing lane. They're just trying to stand there, or they're just trying to throw it from wherever they are and hope that it gets there. You've got to use pivots to give you that extra foot or 2 foot advantage so you can extend your arms, so that you can extend your body, you can get a little curl on the ball, whatever it is, and get it in there. So creating passing lanes are huge when we're talking about pivots.